Okay.
You want me to do a backup recording or are we good?
I think we're good. I think we're good, yeah. So I'll just say welcome. I've got Deborah, Jennifer, Beth, and Marie here in the room with me. I'll show you what they look like.
We're flying through space. Ooh, bad.
And this is our first hybrid meeting. I think it should be fine, but we do have a quorum present. And what I'm going to do is I will simply rotate the computer toward whoever's speaking in this room, should they start speaking for an extended period of time. And you are visible to everyone in this room on a big screen TV here up on the wall. So that's what you look like, if you can see yourselves.
I think, John, with the green screen, at least when you showed what we looked like, we just saw a big green screen, nothing on it.
Okay.
Because I think it's the distance. I think you have to be a little bit close when you have a green screen or a virtual background.
So anyhow,
Maybe take the green screen off.
geez, guys, I was trying to have some fun with the green screen. But okay. I'm going to the Zoom preferences. Hold on, everybody. We're going to get rid of our green screen.
Sorry, dude.
Boom.
Sorry.
Okay. That look more normal? Now you can see others in the room.
Yep.
All right. So why don't we get started? We're going to officially call the meeting to order. And again, we had a disrupted meeting 2 weeks ago because the rules suddenly changed on us and we couldn't meet by Zoom, but we are now entitled to meet by Zoom. And we're entitled to actually have hybrid meetings. I don't know that we'll do this every time going forward. We have to talk about how we want to do this. But I don't think we circulated. I'm looking at Jennifer. We didn't circulate any minutes for approval yet. So we don't yet have the minutes from our prior meeting. So we'll.
I didn't think so.
Last. We've also lost our scribe.
Right.
Yeah, as soon as we went in person.
Right.
So.
So why don't we just dive right into the updates? Beth, you want to take it for the town, or Stephen? Who's going to speak?
Stephen, I nominate him. Mostly because he's not in the room and he can't kick me under the table.
How many people? I meant to get over there to see the sign museum and see. I haven't been in the wheelhouse, so I apologize. My schedule got away from me. So I don't really, unfortunately, because my meeting ran over, I didn't really prepare much for an update.
Hold on, Stephen. We're getting some poor quality from you. I'm not sure if it's your connection or if Concord broadband is down today, but you're very warbled.
Oh, all right. So I don't know if you can hear me, but no.
No.
Let me jump out and jump in.
Okay. Beth, you want to fill the empty air?
Sure.
He did that on purpose. Totally did that on purpose.
Let's see. We're hopping. I did some quick analysis of our tourism numbers. I looked at May 2019 and I looked at May 21. We quadrupled the amount of sales we brought in.
For tourists,
for tourists and merchandise. So it's pretty crazy to see that number in reality and to see the website traffic increase year over year, 250%. I can tell we're busy by the amount of people coming in the door, but actually to see the numbers is pretty startling. So we are launching Concord at night in 2 weeks. So it'll be a 7 p.m. tour. And then Victor and Jen McGonigal hopefully are going to work on the West Concord tour, and we'll get that launched sometime in July as well. And starting July 1st, we are Wheel 5. So that's great. I just hired one new tour guide who's hopefully coming on board in the next few weeks to help us manage the volume.
Wow.
Awesome. Any new grants on the horizon?
I haven't heard about shared streets. I'm guessing Marcia and Aaron haven't heard either.
Okay.
So that's the only one we're waiting to hear on. And that one is a huge grant that includes the bicycles. We are getting a lot of requests for bicycles. There is nobody in the area.
Right.
And don't call ATA, they have been
Swamp.
also not polite.
Yeah.
Because I think they're swamped. But yeah, there's nobody renting bikes right now, anywhere in the area. I called a whole bunch.
Is there usually someone renting bikes?
ATA sometimes has done them in the past.
Right.
And then obviously we had the blue bikes and we had Zagster and stuff like that. So, no, nobody.
It's a great business opportunity.
I was thinking exactly that.
All right, who wants to crowdsource this puppy?
The problem is there are no bikes to be had.
There's no bikes to be had, and then you're, I mean.
Do they need to be nice bikes? Because there's lots of not so nice bikes.
I mean, well, and lots of, like, bed and breakfasts get, like the cute little bikes, but that is not a business I can get into.
Okay.
There was a couple who was doing bike tours in Concord for a while. I have no idea what happened to them, but remember they came to our store and had posters and things.
Oh, interesting.
Remember that?
Well, tomorrow we are having a kickoff meeting for Bike Fest, which they want to have again in October. So I'm going to talk to them and see if they know somebody through their networks that might have a lead on, even somebody that is just willing to do them as a side.
Yeah.
Just be great as a resource, because we are getting people that are coming by train. There's a lot more walkers than I ever knew before, like people that are coming in from the train station and walking all the way up to Great Meadows. We are swamped in this heat because people picked this week for vacation, so our numbers this week are higher than ever. And there's some real diehards out there taking the tour at 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yep, I saw some of them.
God, I mean,
Almost stopped to like post them down.
I don't think I have anything else. But maybe Steven's.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
I was in C4.
We were in
We
the
found
wrong
dead in the
building,
parking
too.
lot.
Yeah, I was wandering aimlessly in the parking lot.
Yeah, well, the last time I was here is when you and I met with John at the beginning.
Say hi, you're on the big screen.
Oh, hi, everyone. Hi, Stephen, I found it. I texted him and said,
Where am I going?
All right, Stephen, is your audio working now? You want to give it another try?
Test, check. Yes,
Sounds better.
sounds better, okay. So, just to build on what Beth was saying, I think I've been talking to Marcia about to support the effort that you guys have to look at,
Steven,
did it go out again?
you're like this and no.
I hear you okay.
I heard Stephen fine, but the
Yeah.
person who just spoke was cracking up a little.
Oh.
Our connection.
We can't hear any of you.
I'm going to try something, guys. God, apologies for this.
I'm gonna recommend in the future that we either do in-person or Zoom, but
But Stephen sounded good, right? Did anybody else have trouble hearing Stephen? He
I heard him
sounded-
fine.
Those of us on Zoom are.
Yeah, I think it's on the, Bradford Mill end that it's the sound is troubling.
now everything's frozen.
Stephen, can you try now?
Yeah, test, hello.
Okay, I think that's better.
Okay, since we're having some difficulty, I'll be very brief. I think the area of focus, and Susan can probably fill you in the room, but we have a charge for the 2025 committee, which is a part of the town's local effort on the 250th anniversary of the shot heard around the world. So we're going to be looking for some volunteers for an executive committee, but then there's also going to be a bunch of spin-off efforts for, I'm sure, fundraising and event planning and things like that. And so it's going to take, I guess they don't want to volunteer.
Have our own little meeting.
Oh, the joys of hybrid.
Yeah, hybrid may not be the way.
Well, I hear everybody. It
We're
must-
back. We're back.
We're back.
Okay.
All right,
42.
go ahead,
Okay,
Stephen.
so I think it just from all of your perspective, working with Economic Vitality Committee, Concord Together, the Business Partnership, there'll be a lot of need for coordination to make sure not only that the 250th is that the town is well represented and the celebration is robust and fitting for the significance of the event, but also it benefits to our local economy. And so that's going to take a lot of effort. The select board has kicked that effort off a little bit last night, and this is just a call right now for those of you who, I say those of you have time, you're already on this committee, so you couldn't serve on that committee, but a call to maybe recruit some people who would be a good fit for this executive committee.
Oh.
Susan, I don't know if you want to pick up on that point at all.
The chart is in our packet for the materials for yesterday, and we're still kind of working on it, but it's somewhere between 8 and 12 people from different sectors, but it's also people with kind of executive level abilities to fundraise, organize, people that know the town history, people that know the town. So,
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
Remember, you gotta get more involved.
Oh,
I'm sitting here going, ooh, how can I do this? This is
Yeah.
gonna be really fun.
Are we not allowed to be on more than one committee though?
well, we suspended, there's APP 10, which says you can only be on one committee, but it doesn't apply to this, because this is gonna have several subcommittees involved in different sectors, the arts and history and all kinds of things. So if we did that, we wouldn't have applicants. So
We did that for the 375th.
oh, yes, there you go.
And when does this committee start?
We haven't we haven't finalized the charge, but we will soon, and so it's not too soon to submit green cards, and then the select board will appoint. How soon? Soon.
All right, my question was more in the realm of how much time do we have before we have to start working on it if we are interested?
Yes.
Yeah.
Aaron and I just had a conversation about this like 2 hours ago.
Someone pointed out that the Concord battery's already been approached by other towns.
Yes, that's what I'm afraid of.
So we've got to lock in some.
And with the leaving of the superintendent and the new superintendent being approved, he was sitting on all of the Massachusetts
From the,
Park Service.
Park Service.
He sat on the Massachusetts 250,
Yeah.
so we need to get somebody on that committee.
So if I could just, so Susan's right. I was going to say 5 minutes is the amount of time we have before we have to do something about it. There is a charge. It is approved. There were some suggestions made by our newest select board member. And so the board is kind of reviewing those selections, but there is a charge. And so people can submit their green cards. And I don't think the overall, overall goals of the charge are going to change significantly. It was more some process stuff. And as an aside, I know it was mentioned last night that the Concord Independent Battery has been approached by their towns, and I'm like, I don't think they can take it anywhere unless the town signs off on it. So I'm pretty sure that we have the first right of refusal, if you will, before the battery can go anyplace. So I'm not worried about them being available. But I do think it's going to be an important effort. We are, it keeps getting mentioned that, they started, they put 6 years into planning the 200th. And, I also pointed out last night that it took them 2 years to come up with their theme. I highly doubt that with how fast things work and modern communication, it's going to take a full 2 years to come up with something like the shot heard around the world. 1775. Which was their theme. And no disrespect for the folks on that committee, but I'm like, 2 years, really? So it'll go much faster than that. But I think that
The shot crawled down the wall.
Yes, yeah. So I do think it needs to get going though. Susan's right. And so that really is the big message for today, is looking at that. The other thing I'll just mention is the budget was approved at town meeting. That has some significance for our economic vitality efforts. The last step in that process is to bring a reorganization plan to the board, which I intend to do on July 19th. And it's only because I'm going to be absent on the 12th. And I would, and then also we are working on working and waiting on the use of ARPA funds. We're going to be putting together a plan, amongst the departments about what we think the high priority needs are, and then present that plan to the select board for feedback. As we move forward, obviously our focus is on, kind of investments, smart investments that will both yield economic recovery, but also facilitate greater economic vitality. And so that's kind of our overarching theme are those two things. So we don't have anything specific yet necessarily, but we have $5.6 million to spend before December of 2024. So we will, like I said, be working on a plan. We want to make sure that we are pretty methodical versus the CARES Act money, which was kind of like a bit of a spending spree for things that we believed that we needed at the time. And they did help, protect the town, both the town employees and town residents. But the ARPA money is a little bit more, like, so we'll be a little more methodical and really focus on leverage. So that's it for me.
Did you already talk about the grants, Stephen?
Oh, actually, the grant that, yes, the grant that was, I think Marcia did talk about this before, but or if you haven't, Marcia, the grant that was originally for the bid process that we're going to be using to fund the analysis of the barriers.
We're actually gonna have a full update of that from
Yeah.
Marcia.
Yeah.
I have a quick question before we move off this subject. And it's just, I've been watching, like all of us, the news around the variants and things like that. And while Massachusetts is doing a fantastic job with the vaccinations, the Delta variant is really catching up in the United States. So I just think we need to at least have a footnote in our minds. You talked about recovery and vitality, but I think protect is also probably part of the equation, just to keep a little kind of buffer in there in case, I hope not, knock on wood, but if there is a backward step, we need to be ready to jump in and help float us through whatever next wave might come. So I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, I mean, we've been watching that closely. I know Susan Rask, and who's in Marcia's shop, has been watching as well. And as long as we keep hearing that the vaccine is still effective against the variants, I think we're following the CDC's and DPH's guideline, or get lead on that. I do think that there are, as soon as we hear different messages than that, then I think you're right, Jennifer. I think it's okay. Now we need to really rethink what we're doing. I'll be honest with you. I think doing something locally that's beyond what the state is calling for is more problematic than it would probably end up being worth on a probability basis.
I'm not intimating that we should be doing that. I'm just saying that, when we look at, for example, budget that was recently approved for the committee programming, it's worthwhile to go for the crisis communication exercise of what if, and just have it in the wings. That's what I'm saying. Not actually execute against the plan, but have something ready just in case.
I should say. Yes, that's a good idea. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Beth. Jennifer, anything you want to update on in terms of Concord Together?
We haven't had a lot of activity since our last economic vitality meeting. I'm looking at you in case I'm forgetting something, which is very possible. I think the main activity we have going on right now is we are repeating the summer solstice program. It's well underway and being well received. I think we have our first drawing. Not well received. No, not a lot of trash.
We had to delay this week's. Because we have absolutely no passports turned in yet. So we need people to encourage businesses to pass the passports out and discuss it with their customers.
Yeah.
Part of the issue is that most of our customers, I don't know about Jen, but most of our customers have been visitors who have said, I'm only here for the day.
Yeah, and we talked about that very briefly, and maybe we have our next meeting, not this week, but after the 4th of July weekend, right? Maybe we can come up with a one-day version that does something, you know, visit 3 businesses in a day and get, I don't know.
We can do a little
pencil or
email
whatever.
chain about that right now
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
But a lot of locals have flown the moon.
Yeah.
Or say, I'm only here until Saturday, or I'm only
Right.
here until the 10th, and then I'm going away. So,
Yeah.
So it sounds like part of it is the mix of visitors. The other part is that the businesses are just not feeling particularly excited to redo this.
I think they're excited to redo it, they're just not conveying that.
Yeah.
For some reason, they think someone else will hand out all the passports, and they're not being proactive. It's all right, it happened last time too.
Yeah.
There's a handful of businesses that are handing out the
But-
passports, but the others aren't.
What's different this year though is that everyone's understaffed and a little bit overwhelmed.
And
Completely.
So I think there's business now where there was none, and that's just one more thing, you know?
Well, that was an issue last year, was
Yeah.
getting passports into people's hands that came in the
And it
store.
did take a little time last year.
It did.
So it may be that it picks up, but I mean, I have 0 in the bin.
Dawn, I
So-
see you had a question.
It was just, I just made a note myself to promote it on social media and to remind, you know, the locals. I don't know about putting, I know I was thinking, oh, I can put a slip in with every order, but I think frankly, that probably would be a waste of paper if people don't want it. You know, most people don't even want bags these days. But I'm not sure that visitors, and I guess it's a Concord Together discussion, but I'm not sure that visitors really need an incentive to visit more stores. That's one of the things they do.
Right.
Right.
So,
Do you
you know, it's really, it's the, and local patrons are great. You know, we're getting a ton of people from all over, but also locals are out. So maybe we can continue the effort and make a concentrated effort to make sure people are aware of it. But I do think a lot of our local patrons are kind of here and shopping because they want to be, and they, you know, they don't want any extra incentive. Maybe I'm being Pollyanna, but
Well, and we had a lot of people win multiple times last year, so, you know, like, we were just talking about Matt Boger, I'm like, I haven't seen him. He was visiting me every single week last year, and I haven't seen him, so I wonder if he won last year, he, you know, he's a
Yeah.
huge advocate, but maybe he is feeling that way, and, you know, doesn't need an incentive. to
I
shop.
actually also get that, I have a loyalty program in the store, and Dawn, you said this to me even, add me on to the email list, but please don't do the loyalty part, because I want to support my local businesses. We've had a lot of people saying that recently. So that may be part of it.
Well, all right, so we'll discuss it with Concord Together and see if we could do a one-day thing for visitors. And you know what, if it turns out that ultimately it's not needed, that's okay too.
Right.
I agree with Dawn. I don't think we need to do it for visitors, because what do? They come to town, they have ice cream, there's something, to eat, they go from shop to shop.
Right.
Yeah.
So, right.
Yeah. Or maybe we extend it until the fall solstice, so we get everyone when they're coming back from school to, you know,
Sure.
that end of August, back to school shopping
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. We
I
just
know
wanna
we
go
started
longer.
giving out the passports on Saturday, but I completely forgot to check today if we needed more.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Yeah.
I think I've had to remove off and that's not doing that.
But I think that's really the only major update from Concord Together.
Anyone else in the committee, Marie, any of the other retailers wish to add anything?
It's been good. I mean, it's, local residents have continued, at least in downtown Concord, local residents have continued to shop. And visitors are very happy to be here. They're from all over. And a lot of them are driving. So part of the good news is that they have got more room in their trunk.
That's so interesting.
To buy things,
Really?
and they've even commented on that. Oh, I don't have to put my suitcase overhead, so I can buy the sap pan, or I can buy this or that, and I have room to take it home. We even had one family in, and they were sending the father home because he was grumpy and they needed his seat to put stuff they had bought. So they were putting him on a plane in Boston, and they were continuing to Maine. And everyone was like, yeah. So far downtown, of course, the last 2 days have been a little lackluster, but we don't have air conditioning, and it's been 96 degrees, so, you know, no one's coming in there right now. But all in all, everyone who's come in has been upbeat, happy. It's been half mask, half not. We wear our masks like this, so if someone's uncomfortable, we put it on. And being that we have the toy store, we get a lot of kids in there. So whenever we walk into the toy store, we put our mask on so that we're not exposed. Because we've discovered in the last 2 weeks, parents are not making their kids wear their masks.
I've seen that.
So there are a lot of kids out there without masks.
Yeah.
And who knows?
I missed what you just said. You've discovered in the last week, what?
That a lot of the parents are not making their children wear masks. So the majority of kids coming in do not have masks on. So we're wearing ours when there are kids in the store.
Well, if I may, when you're finished, I just wanted to speak.
No, that's, you know.
I didn't want to interrupt you.
I'm very optimistic about the way the rest of the summer and the fall season will go if this Delta variant stays away.
Can I just ask one question about traffic in town, foot traffic? And this is probably an unwelcome question from our retail friends, so I apologize in advance, but I was in Concord Center on Sunday, and there were a lot of people walking around downtown and a whole lot of closed stores. Is there a reason why people are, it just seems like maybe Monday and Tuesday are better to be closed and be open on a Sunday?
Sunday's one of the lower days business-wise.
I saw a lot of people.
Look,
in
I'm
town,
open,
yeah,
but people got in the habit of being closed on Sunday during the pandemic. And being that everyone is watching their employment or not able to get employment, it's very hard for retailers to get people to work on the weekends. So I'm sure a lot of it is a staffing issue. And another issue is they're just closed.
Yeah, okay.
I agree with you. It's like there's still a sign up that says, please shop Concord, and it says open late Thursday nights.
Yeah.
I'm the only one who's open till 8 o'clock. No one else is.
Right. Yeah.
That
It's
needs to
just,
be
I
covered.
think it's tough for the shops that are open on the whole weekend, and you know, the tourists that are coming locally are working during the week. So
Right. I'm in the middle of the block where no one is open near me.
yeah, that's tough.
But
Yep.
I put my stuff out
It's the
there.
reason we're doing a night tour. It's the reason we extended our hours to 5 o'clock, because we're getting feedback from travelers. Like, they need help after 4.
The plus on that is that the people who are open are doing more business.
Yeah. Anyway, just, you
No,
know,
it's,
You're absolutely right.
you're absolutely right. I've talked to some people and they're not gonna open.
Nope.
Jan, you had a comment?
Yeah, I just, well,
Done.
actually, if it's all right, because I have to have a moment here off the call, that I'll be right back on, but I thought I'd give a quick update because a lot of it kind of piggybacks onto what I've been hearing. Our site is overrun with people, and I'm there a lot of days. We aren't open right now to bring people inside, but I talked to a lot of them. We are so excited about reopening. And at the beginning, before we officially started the meeting, I was saying that even though our website says our official opening date is August 1st, we are working very hard to open sooner because of exactly what you're all saying. But in our case, and that was why I was asking particularly about the mask issue, I think we really are trying to have everyone wear a mask, because we're a small space and because it's a little hard. If you're going through on a tour and it's a very small space, you can't just choose to walk somewhere else, which you can do in a store. You can do that in a restaurant. You can do that if you're outside, obviously. So anyway, things are moving along. All the things you've been talking about are part of our story too. We've lost a lot of people because of the pandemic. You know, some people have just decided, you know, I think I'm really retiring now, you know, that sort of thing. But we also feel like the visitation is going to be very strong, and we're so excited. So watch our website, and you may be able to tell people, guess what? Orchard House is open already, we hope. So anyway, thank you.
Thanks, Jan. Dawn?
I just wondered, is there a spot, to Maria's point and Jen's question about the hours of retail, is there a central spot where we have all the stores and services and what their hours are? I know things are still changing. We're opening half an hour later than we used to, and we're closing an hour earlier. So we're now 10 to 5 instead of 9:30 to 6. And we have eliminated our evening hours, our Thursday late nights for now. But I hear the point. I mean, there are a lot that aren't open Mondays, or aren't open Mondays and Tuesdays, or aren't open Sunday and Monday. And I don't know if is there a roundup where we can, at a glance, just kind of, or maybe we should do that. Maybe
Remember, Don, we
get a child, a student volunteer from the high school to just comb the websites and find out what the hours are, so that we can look at it and maybe present that as data to folks who are
My staff
maybe
does it.
able.
My staff tries to keep a list of at least Concord Center, but we don't print it because it changes. So it's more like it's in our staff resource book. So if somebody asks, my staff can just refer to it, and we keep the dry erase board updated as well, and purposely did a dry erase board. It is very, very difficult to keep up with it.
So
Do you know how many retailers are closed on Sundays, Beth, in the center?
Yeah, I have a list. It's old. I mean, it's as good as the last time one of my staff did it.
So the chamber is designing a new website that hopefully will be up. It won't help us right now. It'll be up mid-August to late August. And it will be a little bit interactive where members can actually go on and go into their listing, and then they would be able to make sure that they have their hours in that listing. So someone who checks that will know what the hours of each shop could be. The problem is they don't know what they want to go visit, but maybe I'm gonna write a note when I talk to the website designer. We'll try to figure out, maybe we can have a page that strictly has the members' hours on it with a short description of the shop.
I wonder if you could talk to the designer about the idea that when you search for a store on Google, it often shows you the opening hours, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And a lot of businesses update those from time to time.
Yeah.
If your website could just pull
Pull that
dynamically
data.
from those Google
Yeah.
listings.
I was actually gonna say, I found a lot of people are not updating their Google hours.
No.
Yeah.
There have been restaurants that I'm like literally on my way to meet a friend for dinner, and we'll look and be like, oh, they're closed.
Yeah.
But they're
And
not.
they're not. So,
I had that happen the other day with
Yeah.
reasons to be cheerful.
so I think that's
Yeah.
one message to get out to our retail community, and
They have to be proactive.
update your Google hours, not just your website.
Yeah. All right, any other comments from retailers? Because if not, I'd like to get,
Oh, can I just
oh,
make one
sure.
tiny, sorry.
It's never.
you're not a retailer.
Different hand.
But-
No.
Oh,
but
and
it
now
says-
the publishers can
It says
comment.
committee members.
Okay,
I
okay.
think I'm still a committee member. I just wanted everyone to know that the summer issue of Discover Concord is on press, and it will come out right after the 4th of July weekend. And we have a celebrity on the cover, so it'll be a fun issue. That's all I'm gonna say.
So-
She's Marie.
Oh, she doesn't know. It's Marie.
All right, so I was going to suggest we go on to the next item, which is the big project that we've been cooking up for the last couple of meetings. Marcia and I had a conversation with the consultant that we talked about a month ago in our prior call, and Marcia's going to provide an update on that for us.
And that consultant's name is Ann Burke. She was originally hired hired through the Department of Housing and Community Development through their downtown initiative to assist Concord in exploring the concept of business improvement districts. She came on board at the start of COVID, and so we found that business owners and property owners were not interested in even discussing it at that point in time. So she's been on hold. And it turns out there's about $10,500 left in her contract. So she is willing to revise the contract to take on this outreach and research and reporting on ways that we can better support our economic vitality in our local businesses. And so John and I talked with her about doing a series of surveys, 3 surveys, groups of visitors, residents, and businesses, and then conducting a couple of focus groups with property owners and perhaps the food service groups, and then putting together a report that they would then serve to regulatory boards and committees. And then we could have that conversation, sort of a summit, to talk about what people see as hurdles or challenges or ways that we can improve and make it more welcoming and supportive of our local businesses so that they can get started and that they can grow in Concord. And I think I'm really excited that Anne is a very dynamic individual. She has been involved in business improvement districts across the Commonwealth and is very cognizant of what businesses need and asks a lot of good questions. One of the things that she has done is reach out to Emmy Hahn, who runs the Downtown Initiatives program, to see if we can use the questions that Massachusetts developed for cities and towns back in it was a survey of businesses back in April called the Local Rapid Recovery Programs. So we'll be able to use those questions as part of the basis. And then John provided all of the questions and survey information that Concord Together pulled together last year as a background and information so that she can get a quick start. So Anne and I will be meeting on Thursday this week and talking about the next steps to move forward, and I'll be able to report back further information.
That's great.
Thanks, yeah, well done.
Woo-hoo.
Nice.
Yeah.
Marcia, will there be a written kind of project plan or even a letter that we could just kind of share with everybody to make sure that before she jumps in, fully, that there's an opportunity for some feedback on specific dimensions of the plan?
That's probably a really good idea, John. I will talk with Anne about doing that, and getting any feedback from the Economic Vitality Committee before she jumps in with both feet.
That'd be great.
I remember when she presented the Concord Business Partnership, I thought she was a hot ticket. And I did follow through, and I sent her an email about a couple of things, and then we just kind of petered off. So I'm glad she's coming on board.
Yeah.
That's great.
I was impressed with her experience in that she does work with a number of communities, and she also had a lot of familiarity with what communities were doing specifically to rebound post-COVID.
Yeah,
I think that will prove helpful also. So,
Right.
Very good. Well, thank you, Marcia. Any else? Any other points or no?
I think that was it. I think the advantage of working with Anne is that there's an outside pair of eyes looking at the issues and sort of framing the questions in a way that will be productive and helpful in addressing some of the concerns that I've been hearing from businesses and business owners. So I'm looking forward to this as a very positive situation. So
that's great.
I think the fact that we'll have someone who's objective and perhaps less emotional about Concord Senior.
Totally non-biased
Yeah.
approach, right?
That's great.
And not starting from scratch, because this is what she's been doing for years.
And she knows what other communities are
Yeah.
doing and best practices to rely on. Yeah,
Right.
no, I think she's fantastic.
Okay. Well, that's great, Marcia. Thank you very much.
you're welcome.
Okay, we don't have any recommendations to consider today, I don't believe. Is there any other business we should be talking about or covering?
I just want to say, and you probably all got it too, I got a message from Kate Carr, who is resigning from the business partnership effective July 1st.
Yes.
Oh, did she make her decision on her date?
Yes.
Oh, annoying.
Yeah, Kate has been huge for the business partnership for many, many years.
She's been huge for the town.
Yes. I first met her, I think, during the CC Pools fundraising
Yeah.
for the BD Center.
And Jennifer Clark will be taking her spot. This is her.
Okay. I don't know her.
Well, she's Julia's mother. Julia works for me, but she's been with Open Table and has done a lot. She has a long resume.
Right.
So she's a real go-getter. Well, her name's Jennifer. Here's another Jennifer that's gonna be on our calls. Right.
So I think one other thing we do want to talk about is just our meeting format.
Yeah, and time.
And time.
Like, because I think this worked great back in Zoom COVID land, but I think 4 o'clock is really hard for most, well, actually everyone, right? The restaurants are prepping to open and the retailers are still open. So what should we do?
I guess the first question is, do we want to stick with the virtual format? Or do we want to try to go back in person? Maybe Susan, you have some sense as to what are most of the committees in town doing?
I don't know about most of them, but I've been to several meetings and they've been hybrid. So you could be either in person or Zoom. So that seems what, although Council on Aging was totally just in person, but this is the beginning, so it's hard to say how, I think, I was saying this is great now, but in November, when it's dark at 4 o'clock, I'm not sure about going to a 7 o'clock meeting, but in person, but I
And
think
the townhouse is still closed.
the
right?
townhouse is still closed, so that's so the select board met on Kai's Road yesterday, and we'll continue to do that, but our thinking was, as a board, that we wanted to be able to do this, to be around the table.
Yeah.
But still have access if somebody's out of town, or for the public to have access, and there were maybe 8 or 10 people at the select board, public at the select board meeting, no one on site, but 8 or 10 on the Zoom, so. And, it's beginning of summer, so I don't know exactly which factors are influencing it, but.
Stephen, do you have any thoughts? What would you like to see us do as the town manager? Should we be finding a way to, clearly the hybrid nature of this meeting was a little challenging from a technology standpoint.
But it was our first.
But it was our first.
Yeah, this way we're fine,
This was great.
at
Okay.
least for us.
How
But
is
we're in a room.
How
it
do
for
people
Zoom?
on Zoom feel? Because it's easy to get we don't see you if you're raising your hand or.
Dawn has a question.
We have a comment,
Okay.
an answer. So I'm looking forward to meeting in person again. The timing just didn't work today because of other commitments I have. But I guess I have a question overall on our meetings. Originally, we were meeting midday. I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday, which actually worked really well for me because even though he's a teen, I have one still in school. So early morning meetings are tough, so that midday worked really well. But we originally were meeting once a month and then COVID. So we came up with the every other week format. And I'm wondering also if we are going to maintain that, which may be challenging, or if we're going to return to the once a month meeting time. So my short answer is I'm excited to meet in person, and the next EVC, I will be there physically.
Do we need to keep meeting twice a month, do we think? If we've got a consultant underway doing work, things are moving forward, I don't know.
I think, summer also is another factor for people, right? And I think having bi-weekly meetings over the summer, maybe even harder than normal.
Right.
Do we want to try for the next couple of months, or kind of let's maybe wait until maybe just meet monthly until September? And then we can revisit the question as to whether we feel we need to go to a twice a week meeting, twice a month schedule.
That's when it's harder for the retailers,
What?
is fourth quarter.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and maybe
Well,
then,
maybe we
so, I mean, it's we can talk about it every other meeting and like, you know, is this working? Does this, you know, we can do a poll, we can do,
Or do two meetings if, in a month, when
if it's
we really
necessary.
need it.
Right.
It's necessary, but
I think
start it as one normally, and if we need to add a meeting, then we
Right.
add a meeting.
I think for the summer, we're probably okay with once a month,
I
right?
agree.
Yeah.
Should we, is that something we need to vote on? Or we just,
I think
I can't see all the people, can you?
Steven says we don't
Steve
have,
says
we don't have.
Marcia says
to.
we don't.
Okay.
Susan?
No, sorry.
Go ahead, Steven.
Really, the co-chairs, or the chair, or in this case, co-chairs, schedule meetings and set the agendas. And so it's really the co-chair's discretion. Now, I think most committees do it on a consensus basis like you're doing right now, but that does not need to be memorialized in a vote. And I think two reasons for going back to once a month for the time being. The first is it is summer, everyone's, things are coming back. Many of you have businesses that you're trying to run. But the second thing is, we are now in yet another unprecedented chapter of this. And I really think it's important for all of you to be kind of collecting data, anecdotes, whatever. And it's harder to do that on 2-week intervals, and just see where things are moving from one month to the next over the summertime, which is generally a busier time for tourism, to see if that data or those anecdotes, like sales data or foot traffic even, does that really frame our thinking in terms of the next phase and even the project that Marcia's working on? I'm personally interested in seeing what you all are seeing. And like I said, the more data we can have, I think the better informed future meetings will be. And then the last part, I guess, is a third thing is, a lot of time and effort went into getting 141 Kais Road hybrid ready. It worked really well. That was my first hybrid meeting. It worked really well, but it was a mountain of effort to do that. As Erin and Marcia can tell you, we had MMN working there, our IT department. Now that is set up, that's set up, we'll be back in the townhouse, I would say, by September 1st. And the select board meeting room, I think, will be like hardwired for hybrid meetings. So it doesn't take the same level of, hands-on work to get it ready. And so once those meeting rooms are available for, reservation hybrid meeting, I think you can continue to do it. It's just a little bit easier in the format you have here. Because I'll be candid. If we had the public in any number at this meeting, we would hear about how bad the format was and how they couldn't see each other, and it would, the public has a certain expectation for hybrid meetings, and this one I think kind of was on the short hop. So I appreciate, John, what you're doing, and I think this is actually working really well for the, it's a good play of the hand that we ended up with. But I think if we're going to have hybrid meetings going forward, we just need to plan it out a little further in advance and do it at one of our town buildings that's set up that way. But I do think the expectation of the community is that you continue to offer hybrid options.
Stephen, I just want to verify, we can do this until June of next year by law?
April of 2022.
So if we.
And I think, so April of 2022, which ostensibly gives the legislature enough time to get their act together and do this on a permanent basis.
So if we did an in-person meeting for July, or do we want to try to do a hybrid again, or do we want to just say it's in person? What do we want to do?
For the July.
We'd have to have enough room for members of the public that might want to attend. And where would that be? Right.
So now that Kai's Road is set up, could that be used if we want to do a hybrid meeting?
Yes, it could.
So we could do there,
Subject to availability, but yes.
of course.
All right. Okay, let's talk about time of day. I agree that like in the week and maybe in the day is better, especially during summer. I think Mondays and Fridays are probably a bad idea. And I don't much want to be doing this at 8 o'clock on a summer night, but How, I think exactly midday is really tough for you, isn't it, Deborah?
It is, but I did make it when it was once a
She
month.
did make.
Yeah,
yeah.
Would that be all right?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
Well,
there's a lot of people here we need to.
And Jen McGonigal, what about you?
It's tough. Midday is tough.
Sorry.
Yeah, it,
Yeah, today was especially, I've got a lot of people on vacation. So today's especially challenging. Once school's back in, well, I'm tough because I have two girls that are school aged. I can be flexible today. I apologize. This was basically useless of me being here. What are our options right now?
Well,
Midday maybe for July and August.
is there a day that you're
Midweek.
closed?
Mm-mm.
No.
Well, if our AC goes out or the town internet goes down, yes.
As long as you have noticed that 48 hours in advance of our meeting, that's fine.
Yeah. Most times should be good. The later in the day or before 10 is, I mean, between 10 and 6 is tough. But once school's back, that's okay. The beauty of the meetings that I could do virtually was that I could be at home and the kids are home and they're not with me. But I also will have more staff. This is just a fluke that everyone's gone. So
And what time do you open?
So I have to jump to my next thing. So good luck with the discussion on it. And I'm on your clock, so I can be flexible as well.
Thanks. Steve.
Okay.
I'm pretty good.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah.
So what about like early morning, like 9-ish? What's worse? I don't.
Well, 9 is tough because I don't know what time Jen opens, but I open between 9 and 10. So on the days that I have meetings, I open at 10, but that means I can be off the meeting by 9:45 at the latest.
yeah, we open at 10 and close at 6, but like probably morning's better for me. But again, I can be flexible. I think I'm just gonna have to adapt because I have store and kids and
Yeah.
What about like, do we say noon was bad? How was noon?
I think, well.
Noon is busy, super busy for you.
yeah.
yeah.
To register anymore. so,
Right.
Okay.
you know, I can-
So you can.
So
make
is
it-
noon any better for you?
Yeah, I mean, I will make it work.
Yeah.
All right,
That's all. And if we do it hybrid,
then
and
you
all
can
of a
jump
sudden you
on.
can't do
Yeah.
it,
You can still.
you can do
on.
it from the store.
Right.
So
So
we
should-
have that ability.
For July, should we do like a Tuesday at noon and just see how that works? And if it's okay, we'll adopt that for the summer.
We're only talking about 2 meetings.
I know.
So why don't we say for July and August, we'll do it on a Tuesday at noon. and see
Yeah,
how-
I'll tell you, Tuesdays at noon will be horrible for me, but I don't know that I can make the July or August one anyway because of just all kinds of commitments and we'll be out of town a lot.
And you were gonna say something.
Well, 2 things. First of all, just to this point, is Tuesday sacrosanct? I mean, would it be possible to do Wednesday at noon or is that worse for everybody? If noon is not great, I understand that already, but if we're gonna try for noon, could it be on a Wednesday?
Yes.
Wednesday's better for me,
Wednesday's
Alright.
better for Marie.
but
Jan, Wednesday's better for
And
you?
my other point, I guess everybody's thinking about that. My other point was just a quick thing to say that my board meetings for Orchard House have always been, well, I'll call it hybrid. We never called it that, but we have some board members who live in New York and they can't fly in for a meeting every time we meet. So we've always had 1 or 2 people, sometimes more than that, and then some together in the room. And it has worked so well. It has allowed more flexibility, has allowed more participation. I just wanted to put in a plug for that, but it seems like everybody's already on board and you've got great setup at the townhouse to have a hybrid meeting that has the good standards and all. So I just thought I'd throw that in. But my question going back, I know everybody was sort of thinking about whether or not Wednesday's even possible.
I think Wednesday at noon is it, right? Anybody strongly object to that? Okay, then it's
Okay.
sorted.
So what's our date?
Maybe that last when.
Would it be Wednesday the 28th?
If
That's the last Wednesday.
Yeah.
I'm away, but.
How about, I might be, how about the 21st? Okay,
3 weeks. Compromise for now?
Dawn's saying no.
But don't make it around me. The 28th works, the 21st doesn't. That's just
We can.
the
We'll
way
do
it is.
Are you still gone the 28th?
Again, my schedule's terrible.
Yeah.
I'm gone the week, that week of the 21st and the week of the 28th. We're hoping to take a week of family vacation, but none of my kids' schedules are cooperating.
Oh, okay.
So the answer is, I don't know. Sorry.
Well, why don't we make it, you're out the 28th?
Yeah, but you can do, you don't need me. I mean, I'm the only one, then do it the 28th.
I'll tell you, should we send a doodle poll around?
Yeah.
Let's do that, okay? I think that's a more efficient use of people's time.
We'll figure it out.
The
Okay.
chairs will send out a doodle poll with scheduling options, okay?
Yeah.
All right,
All right.
Good.
Anything else for today?
I think that's it.
Yeah. Does the public have any comments?
Public, can I just ask, I heard that Kate Hanley is no longer the sustainability officer in town.
Yes, she has moved on to work for a private company. She'll be working out of Waltham, but she will keep her Concord connections. Had a great opportunity, so she jumped on board, and we are currently seeking a new sustainability director.
Great.
Cool. Okay. Well, good. In that case, shall we adjourn?
We shall.
Yes.
I'm going to give the courtesy to the folks on the screen to go first. Jan Turnquist. How do you vote on a motion to adjourn? Oh, thank you. Dawn,
Aye.
Jen McGonigal,
Aye.
Beth,
Aye.
Jennifer,
Aye.
Marie,
Aye.
Deborah,
Aye.
John votes in favor. So thank you guys very much. Look for a doodle poll from us, and we'll see you all very soon.
Thanks,
Thank you all.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Great to see you. Bye-bye.
I love meeting here, and I'm sorry that we're gonna